Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down something pretty wild, how a husband and wife team bootstrapped a simple idea into a business that's knocking on the door of $1 million a year. And they did it in just a year and a half, all by making one single brilliant bet on open source.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Papermark, this open source software company, hit $75,000 a month in recurring revenue. That's a $900,000 annual run rate in just about 18 months. We're talking about a side project that just completely blew up into a serious business.
And you want to know how it all started? With this one tweet. That's it. This tweet from co-founder Mark went viral. And basically, it proved the entire business idea was a winner before they even wrote a single line of code for the final product. Incredible. So that first spark, it really shines a light on the huge opportunity Papermark saw. They looked at a market just filled with these slow-moving, old-school companies that were totally ripe for disruption. Yeah, see, you have to get this. The big players in this space, companies like DocSend, they've just kind of stopped innovating. They were totally focused on these huge enterprise clients, and in doing that, they left this massive gap in the market for something fresh, something community-driven that anyone could use. And this timeline, it just shows you how ridiculously fast this whole thing was validated. Just think about it for a second. An idea on a Friday, and by Monday, they had people reaching out, ready to pay. That's not just luck, That is solid proof that there was a massive, untapped demand for what they were building. So what was the secret sauce here? What was that one core decision that made this explosive growth even possible? Well, it was the choice to build out in the open, to bet everything on open source. Now, for anyone who's not super familiar with the term, open source basically means the project's entire DNA, its code, its history is completely out there for the public to see. And what this does is it brings together this global community of developers who can jump in, help build it, improve it, and even fix bugs. But, okay, this leads to the million-dollar question. Literally, if the code is free for anyone to use, how in the world do you actually build a business and make money? Right, that is the central puzzle that Papermark had to solve. And they did it with a really clever business model, one that perfectly balances giving value to the community while still being a successful company. And here is the absolute genius of their model. They created two totally different paths for users. On one hand, you've got the free do-it-yourself version for the more tech-savvy folks, and then for everyone else who just wants it to work without the fuss, there's the paid, hassle-free service. So this model, they call it Open Core, and it is just brilliant. Think about it. They give away this incredible value for free, which helps them build a huge community and a massive base of users. And from that group, they make money from the people and the businesses who need that extra power, that convenience and support. But this model didn't just bring in cash. Oh no. It created this powerful, self-reinforcing growth engine. You can kind of picture it like a flywheel, that once you get it spinning, it just keeps going faster and faster on its own. Yeah, this flywheel is really built on four key pillars that constantly fuel their growth. It creates this amazing cycle of value for both the users and the business. So let's break them down one by one. All right, pillar number one is defensibility. How do you compete with free? The short answer is, you really can't. By giving the main product away, they basically built this powerful moat around their business that makes it super hard for any competitor to even get started. Okay, second pillar, scalability. That free version, it acts like a giant self-sustaining marketing machine. It attracts thousands and thousands of potential customers because there's absolutely no barrier to entry. And naturally, a certain chunk of those free users are going to convert and start paying for the convenience. Pillar number three is huge. They essentially outsource their R&D to a passionate global community. This gives them an absolutely incredible development speed, It lets them innovate and outship their slow-moving corporate competitors by a mile. And finally, pillar four, high trust and security. It's simple, really. Transparency equals trust. Because anyone anywhere can look at the code, customers can be totally confident that there's nothing sketchy hiding inside. For security-conscious clients, that is a massive, massive advantage. And look at this. This cost breakdown really just shows you the power of that flywheel in action. Their model is so darn efficient at marketing and development that a staggering 80% of their money can go directly to the people who are actually building the product. That's lean. So what's the big takeaway here for anyone else who's building something? Well, the founders basically distilled their entire journey down into a clear 4-step playbook for anyone who wants to follow in their footsteps. And this is their core advice for anyone looking to build in the open source world. It's not just about writing code. No, it's about strategically positioning yourself to become the new market leader and turning all that community excitement into real, sustainable business momentum.
You know, the Papermark story really proves that there are massive opportunities out there to challenge bloated, overly complex software with something simpler, something better, something community-driven. And it leaves us with one last thought, maybe a provocative one. What stagnant, slow-moving software do you use every single day that is just waiting for its own open-source successor?